Hi class, we're doing a review of what we learned last year and also what we did kind of reviewed yesterday. An equation, remember, it's a mathematical statement that shows that two quantities are equal. I know all of them are equations because I have equal signs, right? Which tells me that whatever I have on one side needs to be the same as what I have in the other one. Like in this example, if I have 2 and I add 2 more, that's going to be the same as 4, right? I have 4 on both sides of my equation. And I know they are equations because I have equal signs. Um, Something else for you guys to remember is that the goal of solving an equation is to isolate the variable. Isolate the variable means that we want the variable just by itself. We want to figure out what's the value of that variable by itself. And a variable is the symbol that represents an unknown quantity. In this case, it says a letter because most of the time when we solve equations, we're going to see letters. Okay, so x minus 5 equals 10. X is my variable because x is a symbol that it's unknown to me. And you can isolate the variable by using the inverse or opposite operation in the equation. So for example, in this equation, 5 is subtracted by x. So I'm doing a subtraction. The inverse of subtraction is addition. Now, if this was a multiplication, the inverse of multiplication would be division. Okay, so remember, addition goes with subtraction, division goes with multiplication. Okay, guys, so to solve an equation, you must isolate the variable. Isolate means that you grab that symbol, that letter that you don't know, and that you're going to figure out the value, just that variable by itself. So just the letter by itself, what does that letter represent or mean? That's what it means, isolate. When you use the inverse operation, remember, if we have addition, we're going to do subtraction. And if we have subtraction, addition, or if we have multiplication, we will do division. Or if we have division, we will do multiplication. So you can, when you use an inverse operation, the numbers will always cancel out. Cancel out means because they will give me 0, okay? Or 1 if I'm multiplying or dividing, which would not change like the value of it. And you would just be left with your variable. So you must keep, in order to keep an equation balance, whatever you're doing on one side of the equation, you gotta do it on the other side. And there's a mistake right here, which I will fix right now. So x plus 5 equals 10. So I want to isolate this one. That means I want to keep this one by itself. So first, I'm going to go ahead and do the one that I have right next to it. I'm going to do the opposite. So this is adding 5, so I gotta subtract 5 to both sides of my equal sign. So 5 minus 5 gives me 0, which I get to cancel. And then 10 minus 5 gives me 5, not 15, gives me 5. So I know that x is 5. And I can double check. 5 plus 5 does equal 10. So I know this is correct. Okay, guys, to solve an equation, you must isolate the variable. Isolate means that we want to keep it all by itself. You can do this by using an inverse operation. So remember, if we're adding, we're going to subtract as my inverse operation. If I'm subtracting, I will add. If I'm multiplying, I would divide. And if I'm dividing, I would multiply. So in this example, I have x plus 5 equals 10. First thing I want to make sure, since I'm adding right here, see, this is my variable that I want to isolate. This is what I want to keep. This is adding 5, so I'm going to do the inverse. Inverse of adding is subtracting. So I'm going to subtract 5 over here and subtract 5 over here. 5 minus 5 gives me 0, so I get to cancel it. 10 minus 5 gives me 5, not 15. And I know that x equals 5. So 5 plus 5 equals 10. To solve the equation with subtraction, we use the inverse operation to subtract. So the subtraction, it will be addition. So this one, we're subtracting 3, so we add 3 on both sides, and that gives me my solution. My solution, remember, is the answer or the value of my variable. And here's another example that you guys can see. Okay, guys, go ahead and try now.